What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Horror Gamer here with the video that I had promised y'all. This is the 2017 Top 10. I know y'all been waiting for it. I've been waiting to give it to y'all, but now the time is here. So, I guess, before I go into the whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, I want to let you know this is going to be a two-part video. So not only are you going to get a Top 10 Best of 2017, but you're going to get two videos, because it's going to be a two-parter. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Number 10, Get Out. So this movie, Get Out, is basically, it has a lot to do with race. It has a very racial undertone to it. It's made from the guy from Key and Peele, and basically the movie's about this interracial couple, white girl, black guy, who go to the girl's family's house to visit and let her meet the new boyfriend. Well, here the mother's like a hypnotist or whatever, so she hypnotizes the guy and uses a teacup glass thing, clink, that thing, yeah, clink clink, to bring him basically in and out of hypnosis. So as the movie goes on, you realize that these people, they're like rich white people, but they love the black culture so much, and they're looking for immortality. So they found it by basically transferring their brain into black people, and it keeps them alive. But they do it through hypnosis at first, and then they do the surgery or whatever. But through the hypnosis, it keeps the original person there. So basically what happens is they're somebody else, but they're trapped into themselves in like this black abyss. So the girl brings the boyfriend over, he gets possessed, and this trip is basically his auction, kind of like, you know how they would auction out slaves back in the day and stuff. So it was his auction, so somebody would buy him and use his body to do what they need to do. So they go ahead and they auction him off. He gets sold to this blind white guy. So basically they're going to use his, do surgery, cut out his eyes and everything. Well, the guy manages to like escape this whole ordeal, and but he ends up getting caught again. He finds out that his girlfriend is actually in on it the whole time, that throughout the year she's been dating black people and bringing them in to whatever this is and auctioning them off. So she's basically like the pawn going out there and getting the pieces to bring back. So at the end of the movie, he started to escape, and the one black guy who's under this hypnosis, he shines him with a light, and it like brings him out of it. And so the guy comes back and kills his girlfriend. Everybody's dead, and then he ends up escaping with his buddy. So they end up kind of like setting it up for a sequel, kind of not. I don't know. It was alright. I mean, it's one of the movies you watch, for me anyway, and it was good, but it wasn't breathtakingly good. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that, but for me it was okay. It was decent. I've seen better, I've seen worse. That's why I'll give it an 8.6 out of 10, and that's why it made the top 10 as number 10, because it was just a little better than certain other movies that came out this year. So yeah, Get Out, 8.10. I mean, 8.6, sorry. Alright, and then now, number 9, we're going to go with DC House of Horror, the comic. Now that was a pretty good comic, like I said. I read it twice, I wanted to read it again, because I had did a review on it in a previous video. But I actually sat down and read it again, and I'll tell you what, it was actually better the second time I read it. Basically, it's a horror anthology of your favorite like superheroes and stuff, different stories. Like the one, Wonder Woman is a vengeful spirit that was brought onto this girl through a Ouija board. The first story, it's Superman when he comes to Earth and he crashes into Martha Kent's farm, and he's evil and he ends up killing her at the end. And like the one where the Justice League meet up in their Justice headquarters, and there's a zombie outbreak. There was one where Harley Quinn was like a vengeful spirit and it was making this guy go crazy and kill everybody. There was one where there was a intertwine between the Joker and Batman where the Joker and Batman are the same person. Bruce Wayne is both Joker and Batman. It was a different look on that, and he ends up shooting himself at the end. And there was one where the Green Arrow was like a Green Arrow killer, and it was pretty good. I'll tell you, it was pretty decent. The one I didn't like, I think the one out of the whole horror anthology I didn't like was the Shazam one, where a piece of paper was following this stupid goth kid. Oh, dude, my life sucks, blah blah blah. And basically it was talking to him, say the word, all because some homeless guy implanted that in his head. So he's like, say the word. At the end, he's like, Shazam, and then you don't see what happens because the screen goes black. But ultimately, though, it was a solid 5 or 6 different stories, a good anthology to read for Halloween time. I could see it being a once-a-year thing around Halloween, but I'd have to give that, after the second time I read it, I know the first time I didn't give it that good of a score. I probably had to give it a 8.0. Because it was pretty solid. Like I said, the only one I really didn't like was the Shazam one. But other than that, the other ones were sweet. The one with the zombie outbreak and the Justice League headquarters, that was cool. I really enjoyed that one. That was one of my favorites. But yeah, it ain't a solid 8 for that one. And then now moving on to number 8, we're going with Rings. Now see, This movie caught a lot of shit, okay, about how it wasn't that good, blah, blah, blah. But listen, I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed it. I like the story that they used for this movie. How the tape kept changing with this one, and how they had like this Samara underground society where you would just give the tape and just spread it, and it's that experiment. I like that. Me personally, I wouldn't, hell no, I wouldn't sign up for that shit. But it was a different aspect on what the old ones were, where, oh yeah, we found a tape, let's put it in, let's see what the hell it is. No. But then this one, it's like, let's spread it like a disease, but keep it in check. Always have that backup. And then what happens when that backup doesn't pull through? So, and then the scene where, she's sitting there and on that big flash screen on her wall, and she yanks it off the wall because Samara's coming, and then she comes out, and then, that part was really cool. And then you find out, that the old preacher was Samara's dad, and you find out at the end, and the whole plot twist with that he, gouged his eyes out so he couldn't look at her, so she wouldn't kill him, and at the end she gave him his sight back just so she could kill him. That shit was sweet. And then when she came up, dude, my favorite part of the movie is when she came up at that cell phone. But bro, what? That just shows like how far technology has come to have a fucking ghost come out the cell phone at the end. That shit was hot. But yeah, so what I would have to give Rings, in my personal opinion, I really enjoyed it. I'd probably have to give it an 8.8 out of 10. Because it had everything for me. I really enjoyed it. It had the creepiness. It had, the new outlook on how everything was going to go down. And that cell phone scene really got it for me, man. That cell phone scene really knocked it out the park for me. So yeah, Rings, you're going to get a solid 8.8. Loved it. Now, we're going to go on to number 7. And number 7 is a game I discovered from a friend called Don't Knock Twice. Okay. I'm still in the process of playing it. It's a pretty good game. Basically, you go into this house, and there was some kind of sacrificial thing going on, and you got to go through this house and find the clues, find different markers for each element, and you're armed with nothing. You got to find a candle, and that burns out. You get a hatchet, but that ends up wearing out. And basically you're running around this haunted ass house with nothing, trying to figure this thing out. And the house and pictures are changing as each time you go through the rooms and shit. I'll tell you, that to me has the potential to be a great game. And from what I've played of it so far, which I'm almost done beating it, it's a really, really solid, I guess you would say, survival horror, because you don't get much. But yeah, so I would have to say it's a survival horror, but let me tell you, that game is fantastic. I am not a jumper. I don't jump in movies. I don't jump at video games, but I'll tell you, that game right there made me jump at least 4 times within the first 5 minutes of actually sitting down and playing it. That game got me 4 times. So right there, that shows you, you know, your boy horror gamer ain't a bitch. He loves horror. But man, whew, some of them jump scares, boy, I'm gonna poop my pants. You know? So, yeah, you know. But anyway, so if I'd have to rate this game, I'd have to give Don't Knock Twice a 9.0. I got a solid 9.0 because let me tell you something. It's got the scares, it's got the ominous, it's got, you know, the proper sound, the proper feeling. The best time to play it is at night with the lights out with your headphones. Let me tell you. Oh boy. It really will set your tone that scares the crap out of you. Yep. So like I said, Don't Knock Twice, solid 9. And now for number 6, and the last one for this video, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna review another little game that had come out about a year ago or so on the computer, but then was released in 2017 on Xbox Live, and that's a game called Dead by Daylight. Let me tell you something. Dead by Daylight is legit one of the best games I have played yet. Basically, it's a 4v1 survival murder spree. You can be the killer or you can be one of the people trying to survive. And they recently had done some DLC, and let me tell you, the DLC they did is legit. Alright, so the first DLC they released for this bad boy, first DLC, was Halloween. So you get to be Michael Myers and you get to go around hunting like Laurie Strode and other people from the movie, which is awesome. And let me tell you, each character, each killer, and each like survivor has special attributes that you have to use to basically do it right and do for you to help you survive or help you kill. So you had your Michael Myers, and everybody knows, you know, you can't subscribe to this channel and not know who Michael Myers is. Or the next one, the next DLC was Leatherface. Now that's legit. You get the chainsaw, you get the animalistic like the Leatherface, and you go around and you hunt, which is legit. I love how they integrate these movies into games now. You know, now you can be the characters you grew up watching. Your boy Horror Gamer loves a little bit of Michael Myers, loves to be a little bit of Leatherface. And the final one that they released just recently, Nightmare on Elm Street, your boy Freddy. Now come on, you got 3 solid, well-known horror movie characters in a game all at one time. Dead by Daylight. Man, I'll tell you, this game is amazing. If you get a chance, you gotta get out there, you gotta play it. Remember, Dead by Daylight. And then they also have other characters too, not just, you know, Michael, Leatherface, and Freddy. They got like some kind of female ghost character. They got some big burly dude. Like they got all kinds. They got like demonish characters. So get out there and give it a try, give it a play. So Dead by Daylight, I'm going to have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. One of the better solid horror games that I played this year. 9.5 out of 10. I think I said that, yeah. Either way, 9.5, 9.7, it doesn't matter. 9.5, upper echelon. So, with that being said, my fellow horror horde, this is your boy Horror Gamer saying part 1 is done. Part 2 is right behind it. And until then, remember, don't fear the darkness, embrace